After the 9/11 attacks, the American public was told that al-Qaeda acted alone. They told us that 9/11 was not state-sponsored terrorism, meaning no other country or government helped plan, finance, practice, and execute the complicated and well-orchestrated attack on our country. We were led to believe it was perpetrated solely by Osama bin Laden and his al-Qaeda network of radical Muslim extremists. The United States and its allies retaliated first by targeting Afghanistan and then by launching the invasion of Iraq in 2003.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
But 13 years after September 11th, 2001, there are still questions about who planned and financed 9/11. And 28 censored pages of the official 9/11 report remain classified to this day as a matter of national security. But many surviving family members of the victims and a growing number of the American public aren't buying the Bush administration's original claim that the documents must be kept secret to help investigators hunt down terrorists. In fact, there has recently been a handful of lawmakers who have finally been able to get access to the protected 28 pages, and they are absolutely shocked at the level of foreign state involvement in the attacks.
This is sort of shocking when you read it. As I read it, and we all had our own experience, I had to stop every couple pages and just sort of absorb and try to rearrange my understanding of history for the past 13 years and the years leading up to that. It challenges you to rethink everything. And so I think the whole country needs to go through that.
I want those documents declassified. I'm embarrassed to be associated with a work product that is secret.
Now, federal law forbids these guys to publicly identify which foreign entity was responsible in assisting the terrorist, but judging by the long history of the Bush family's close and personal relationship with the Saudi royal family, all evidence points to Saudi Arabia. And now a bipartisan bill has been sponsored by Congressman Walter Jones and Stephen Lynch, asking President Obama to release the classified records. Yeah, well, don't hold your breath. The new boss is the same as the old boss. Former Senator Bob Graham, who co-chaired the joint Senate-House investigation into the September 11th attacks, he says, "I am convinced that there was a direct line between at least some of the terrorists who carried out the September 11th attacks and the government of Saudi Arabia." He called it a smoking gun and went on to say the reason for this cover-up goes right up to the White House. Meanwhile, the New York Post says the Saudis deny any role in 9/11, but the CIA in one memo reportedly found incontrovertible evidence that Saudi government officials, not just wealthy Saudi hardliners, but high-level diplomats and intelligence officers employed by the kingdom, helped the hijackers both financially and logistically.
What do we know is in the 28 censored pages of the 9/11 report? People that have seen it said it would bring down the whole system.
I've met with and talked to multiple members of Congress who read it. They are convinced the American people need to see it. It has to do with information which is not convenient to the White House, either White House, the Clinton White House or the Bush White House, and it has to do with an ally who essentially looked the other way and allowed a lot of support for the terrorists who conducted the attack.
But just to be clear, because this is what I've been told, that there was a cover-up, that Saudi Arabia was involved, and basically that's why there was a stand-down, because they didn't want to embarrass the Saudis, and that's why 6 of the 10 commissioners want it released. Is that right?
I can't confirm everything you just said, but I can confirm the Saudi is the name of the country which is being implicated, yes.
And do you think it's going to be released?
I'm working with a number of members of Congress and doing everything I can to help behind the scenes. I hope that they do. I know there's a coalition right now trying to get it released, Alex. I hope they get it released.
That's right. You're working with Walter Jones of North Carolina and Stephen Lynch of Massachusetts.
That's correct, yes.
Well, you guys don't need to fly on any small planes, I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Wow. So the question is, if members of the Saudi government did in fact help train and finance the hijackers, wouldn't that make 9/11 more than just an act of terrorism? I mean, that would make it an act of war. And I think we can all agree that the classified documents no longer, if ever, pose a risk to national security. I guess you could say they do pose a risk to George W. So what are you afraid of, Bush? Why don't you and Obama get together and release the documents? After all, you're either with us or you're with the terrorist.